tone is 100% in our control. Hi, how are you? I'm good. How are you?
So, being a guy myself, how should I, let's say, approach girls in today's day and age without, sounding cringy? So, how do you do that?
In underconfidence, you are occupying as little space as possible,
Okay, got it.
shrinking yourself, horizontally working everywhere.
Yeah,
Overconfidence is you occupying too much space.
got it.
Right? I'm in a podcast. I have no business spreading my arms like this. It's not a speech.
Okay.
And the problem with being a nice guy is that people take you for granted.
Correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
So in order for them to not take you for granted, you need to command respect. Correct?
Yeah, okay.
They say information, knowledge is power. Absolutely BS. Knowledge is not power.
Okay,
Unused knowledge is useless.
true.
Knowledge, when used, becomes power.
Correct.
So I'm an introvert.
Oh, okay.
Introvert is, if you're an introvert, that does not mean you can't speak well. If you're an introvert, that just means that in order for you to recharge, you need solitude.
Correct.
Yeah. You can be really good communicator. In fact, introverts learn faster in most scenarios than extroverts because they are people of paying more attention.
Okay.
When you are speaking, you need to have that, first and foremost, 4 emotions. You need to make them feel these 4 emotions. And if you make them these 4 emotions, you make them feel these 4 emotions, they'll be mesmerized by you. They'll think you're a conversation god.
So, hello everyone. Welcome to the episode number 4. Today with us we have Mr. Mohit Jagwani, one of India's best speakers and a life coach mastering in communication who helps top tier leaders become conversational gods. So, welcome Mr. Mohit.
Thank you so much for having me, Arnav. It's a pleasure to be
Oh,
here.
it's an honor, sir. It's an honor. So, sir, with our viewers generally in our episode, this is how we go about. We start with a little bit about, the guest and how they got to this specific point. So, let's begin with that. Okay.
All right, definitely.
Perfect. So, can you tell us a bit about yourself and how you got into this public speaking?
So, to tell you a little bit about myself, I graduated as an engineer and I was a mechanical engineer,
Oh,
but I did everything except anything related to mechanical engineering.
okay.
So even after I knew in my 4th year that I don't want to go into a technical field that is all about mechanical engineering. I was more towards the management side. So I got out of college and then I got placed in a management firm itself. But in that management role, I had a subdomain of mechanical overlooking.
Okay.
I did not want any of that. So I decided to not go for that job. Instead, I got a job in sales.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And when I was in sales, obviously, when you are in sales, your primary purpose is to interact with people and one-on-one selling. So I was a direct seller.
Correct.
That helped me polish myself a lot. Because when you are constantly going in front of people, when you constantly have to present yourself, speak, it's very hard for you to not improve, because your job, your bread and butter depends on that.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is one reason that I became really good in, let's say, one-on-one communication, especially when I meet someone new. I can get to know really well someone in a very short amount of time.
Okay.
I can make people comfortable relatively easily. I can gain their trust, and it just comes very naturally to me now. Initially, it was not, but
Okay.
then it became more natural. And then, so I have always been called upon by the stage calls me in some way or the other.
Okay.
In the second year of my college, I remember as soon as the clubs and chapters opened, I wanted to be a part of this club called Toastmasters.
Okay.
And generally in Toastmasters, what happens is that anyone can be a part of Toastmasters. But in my college, since the population was so much, everybody wanted to be a part of Toastmasters. That is why they had inductions. They did not take everyone.
Okay.
So you had to kind of go through an interview process and they decide whether or not you'll be a part of it. And all you had to do is go in front of a stage and introduce yourself.
Okay.
Okay. And this was my first time on stage. I had no idea how it was going to be like. So I got in front of the stage and I tried to speak, but my heart started beating really fast. My hands started feeling heavy. I started sweating. And generally, I'm good while communicating and all of that. But in that moment, I started stammering.
Oh.
I was like, "Hi, I'm Mohit." Right?
Yeah.
I barely spoke for 10 seconds. I had a minute. The rest of the time, I was mute.
Okay.
And that was the most embarrassing moment of my life. And I'm so thankful that happened, because after that I decided that, okay, you know what, I want to pursue more of this. I want to experiment. I want to see how this turns out. So I was a part of a non-profit organization as well,
Okay.
wherein I was initially a volunteer, and then wherein as a volunteer my job was to teach children. So I got a little bit of public speaking exposure over there. I became better at it, and then I got promoted to a fellow, wherein my job was to teach and train volunteers. Over there also I got a lot of training in a way in public speaking. And then I took courses, and there is one person that I'm really thankful for. He's my mentor, and everything that I've learned today, I've modeled it around him.
Okay.
Right? He is the executive director of BNI Ahmedabad, and he's one of the most eloquent speakers you'll ever come across. His name is Yash Basant. I heard him speak for the first time, and I knew that I wanted to speak like him. I got the opportunity to learn from him as well, and I took it up. And yeah, I just never stopped. I kept on doing. I kept on showing my work on Instagram, on YouTube, on platforms. I kept on showing my skills, and people just came to me. So
Okay.
that's my story.
That's nice to hear, sir. But sir, just what urged you to start your public speaking journey? Was there like a moment where you said, "Ki, okay, I have to do this, and this will be my career, and this is how I'll make money, and etc. etc." So was that a moment like that in your life?
If you were to ask me a specific moment, it would be really hard for me to define. But
Okay.
there was a gradient.
Okay.
Okay, so for example, initially I was like, okay, no, I don't know, because I was terrible at it.
Correct.
But then I tried more and more. Right, I even tried so before public speaking,
Yeah.
I tried fashion.
Okay.
Okay, I created videos on YouTube about fashion.
Okay.
My mother is an image consultant, so I
Okay.
kind of wanted to, you know, pull her up as well. We had a firm,
Oh,
and we
okay.
I created some videos for that as well. But then it was beginning, and it was a little, but the content was really good, but my delivery was not that good. But people were loving the content. But it was a lot of work, and I got a job as well later on, and I had to leave that.
Okay.
Then public speaking came into the picture, and somehow I just kept on doing things.
Yeah.
I had plans to get into import export as well. I have a family business as well. I was planning to expand it and get it into the import and export domain.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, I was not able to get that done, which is fine, right? I wouldn't be here if that would have happened.
Correct. Correct.
So that is how it just if you were to ask me one moment,
Yeah.
I don't have one specific moment.
Okay.
I just kept on showing up whenever whatever pulled me. I went on the stage on a regular basis. I recorded myself and I showed my work. That is the most important thing. I showed my work. It's
Okay.
not like I just went on stage and then did not record myself. No, if that
Hmm.
would have been the case, I would not be sitting over here,
Correct.
because I showed my work online
Hmm.
and people reached out to me. I realized that okay, this is something that I can make money through,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Then I decided to focus more upon it, because otherwise even my parents would not support me if this was not
Correct.
something that would
Correct.
have helped me make money.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So what happened to the mother's business? Is it still running smoothly or?
Yeah, I'm with her. So both of us collaborate together, and we work as image consultants. So as
Okay.
image
Okay.
consultants, we focus on three things: appearance,
Yeah.
body language, and communication.
Okay. Okay.
She handles the appearance and body language part. I handle the
Hmm.
body language and communication part.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
So
So it's still
yeah.
running, and yeah, that's about it.
Great. Great. Good to know that. So just to clarify for the audience who doesn't know about it, even I am fairly regular, not irregular to this field. So what exactly is public speaking? Can you just elaborate that for us?
You speaking in front of any audience,
Okay.
that's public speaking.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go in front of a stage and people are in front of you and you're speaking to them.
Yeah.
Just if I'm speaking and there are 3, 4 people around me,
Mhm.
that's public speaking.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. Sure, you can add storytelling to it, you can add a lot of improv, other things to it as well.
Yeah.
But if you are sitting and there are 5 to 6 people listening to you,
Mhm.
you are public speaking at a certain level.
Okay. Got it.
Obviously there are more refined forms wherein
Yeah.
you are on a stage, but to simplify it as much as possible, that is what public speaking is.
So, sir, can you earn money from public speaking? Just with 3 to 4 people, or do you have to be on a stage if you want to earn money and make a career out of public speaking?
Well, that depends. For
Okay.
example, there are people that run small cohorts that are,
Mhm.
let's say, 3 to 4 people only.
Okay.
But the thing that they are teaching,
Mhm.
that is so valuable, that they earn in crores,
Okay.
right?
Got it.
So it's not about, sure, public speaking is a skill that you can use it in whichever way you want.
Yeah.
There are coaches that earn a crore a month. And by the way, those coaches, some of them don't speak better than me, yet earn more than me. Not because
Okay.
they are better public speakers than me, but because they have set up those systems in place.
Correct. Correct. Got it.
Correct?
Yeah.
So you most definitely can earn a lot with public speaking.
Mhm.
There are people like Sneh Desai
Yeah.
and a lot of other people, a lot of other coaches
Mhm.
that you might have seen, Rajiv Talreja. They utilize public speaking only. So
Correct.
yeah.
Got it, sir. Got it. So this was a major thing. So, how do you overcome stage fright and anxiety? Many of my friends, even in college events, they also used
Hmm.
to tell me that I'm just nervous. I probably, I don't think I can do this, and, all of that. So, how do you overcome that? Is there a process to doing that or no?
So initially, that fear is going to be there.
Okay.
You need to accept that okay, your heart is going to be beating really fast.
Yeah.
You're going to feel that heaviness in your stomach, in your heart. That's fine. That is how it's supposed to be.
Okay.
But the more you practice, the more you go in front of the stage, the lesser you feel it. It's not like you feel it lesser.
Yeah.
It's still there, but you get stronger and you adapt to it. And it becomes normalized for you, and
Correct.
you can still operate really well in that circumstance as well.
Mhm.
Correct. But so in the initial stages, what I recommend,
Yeah.
if I were to ask you,
Mhm.
what is the feeling that you get when you are excited, super excited? What is the feeling that you get?
It's just an imbalance, basically an imbalance, and it's very close to anxiety and nervousness if I have to compare it to a certain feeling. So yeah.
Mm, mm. You are 100% right.
Yeah.
Correct. So, anxiety, nervousness, and excitement, if you boil it down physically, externally,
Yeah.
both of these have very similar symptoms. In both of these scenarios, you're going to have a very heart that pumps really fast, right?
Correct.
You're going to have, you're going to feel as if your hands are heavy. You're going to feel that heaviness,
Yeah.
as if adrenaline is rushing through your body.
Correct. Correct.
But the difference is in interpretation. When you're
Okay.
nervous,
Mhm.
you don't know what's lying ahead. You're uncertain.
Correct.
You don't want the next thing to come to you. You're in a way reluctant to go. But when you're excited, you're looking forward to it.
True.
You want to know what's going to happen.
Yep. Yep.
That is the only difference. When you change the meaning,
Mhm.
right, of whatever you are feeling, and you stop interpreting it as nervousness and start interpreting it as excitement, that simple shift in meaning
Yeah.
helps you develop your confidence significantly in that very specific moment itself.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Next time I'll advise him to do this. So
Definitely.
yeah. So one more issue that comes while people, you had this issue when you started out, your Toastmasters interview, you started stuttering. So how do you overcome this stuttering? Is it just through sheer practice, or is there one more trick to this?
So I'll divide it into two components:
Okay.
public speaking and speaking.
Okay.
If you're a bad speaker, you are not going to be a good public speaker.
Okay.
Right? If you are a
Yep.
good public speaker, then naturally you are going to be a good speaker.
Correct.
Correct. Right now, I'm not in front of a public. I'm
Yeah.
not in front of just me and you.
Yeah.
Sure, people might be watching this on, let's say, YouTube or any other platform,
Yeah.
but essentially, it's just you and me.
Correct.
Now, am I speaking terribly? Like, is it bad?
No, no, not at all.
No, right? I would consider myself to be above average at least.
Correct. Correct.
Correct. So, similarly, before you become a good public speaker,
Mhm.
you need to be a good speaker, and the way to become a good speaker is to record yourself.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Record yourself on a regular basis from the back camera.
Mhm.
Analyze whatever it is that you are doing.
Okay.
Analyze your body language. Analyze
Okay.
your voice modulation. Analyze the content. Analyze these three areas.
Got it.
Not from the front camera though. Use the back camera. Why?
Okay.
Because when you're using the front camera, you'll become conscious,
Mhm.
and things that you generally do would probably go unnoticed when you're using the front camera.
Okay.
Right? So record yourself from the back camera and
Mhm.
do these three things. First, just turn your phone upside down.
Yeah.
Right? Don't look at the video and just listen.
Okay.
How do you sound? How are you modulating your voice? Is it fun to listen to you, or do you sound boring?
Okay.
Next step, pick up your phone, put it on mute, and just observe the body language.
Okay.
Do you use your hands? Do you not use your hands?
Mhm.
If you were to just observe the body language, do you think it would feel interesting just by looking at your body language? If not, then improve it.
Okay.
Okay, and then don't listen, don't see. Just listen, but not to the tonality, but the words that you are using, the content. How is your vocabulary?
Correct.
How is the structure of your speech? Are you taking pauses? Correct, things of that nature. Pauses is still in delivery, but the
Okay.
words you are using, that is content.
Got it.
Right? So analyze the content. So
Okay.
these are the three things that you can do. You
Yeah.
do this on a regular basis, you're bound to improve.
Got it. And this will help us in overcome stuttering.
In front of camera,
Yeah.
in speaking in general, yes. But when you go on stage,
Mhm.
there's gonna be a period wherein you need to get used to this feeling. As soon as you get used to the feeling, you'll stop stuttering. If you don't stutter on camera as well.
Okay. Okay.
If you already stutter on camera,
Yeah.
then going in front of an audience is not going to stop that stuttering.
Okay. Okay. Got it, Sam. Thank you for the three tips. We'll definitely do this. So, sir, now you mentioned vocabulary and content. You should listen to what you say, and then the tone, obviously. So, what is more important, according to you? Is the body language and tone more important, or, just the vocabulary while speaking?
Okay, I'll give you an analogy.
Okay.
So let's say we're running a business. We want
Okay.
to run a new business. And there's the ideation part and there is the execution part.
Okay.
Let's say the idea of the business is mediocre,
Mhm.
but the execution is top notch. It's top tier. It's S class.
Okay.
Okay, that's situation A.
Correct.
Situation B,
Mhm.
idea is god tier,
Okay.
but the execution, it's mediocre at best.
Mhm.
Okay, that is situation B.
Okay.
Which scenario do you think? In which scenario, situation A or situation B, which business is going to perform better?
Situation A.
The one that has better
Execution.
execution. Similarly, the content you have, that is the ideation, that is the idea that you have. And your body language and the way you communicate,
Hmm.
your tone and your body language,
Okay.
that is your delivery,
Okay.
and that is your
Okay.
execution.
Got
If
it.
your delivery is top notch, world class,
Hmm.
S tier, even if your content is mediocre at best,
Yeah.
people are gonna think that it's S class,
Got it.
correct? But if your idea is top notch, it's God tier,
Hmm.
but your delivery is mediocre at best, then the speech is going to be mediocre at best.
Okay. Okay. Got it, sir. So basically, tone and body language supersedes vocabulary. Okay.
Yes, a lot of the times I wouldn't call it as, let's say, a blanket statement.
Hmm.
Obviously, there are nuances to things,
Yeah.
but in most scenarios, yes.
Okay. Okay. So now coming to tone, if that's more important. So in nowadays, some people have an issue with how they sound themselves, and they want to change how they sound. So is there a method, or can you actually change the tone of your voice to sound maybe more charismatic, while public speaking, or maybe in some cases more manly enough? So is
Hmm.
there a thing to do this?
Yes, there is, and but can you, let's say, if we are talking about our voice,
Yeah.
voice is modifiable to a certain extent.
Okay. Okay.
Tone is, you can be in any tone you want. You can sound angry, you can sound sad, you can sound super happy. So that is tone.
Okay.
The quality of voice is something different. For example, singers have really good voices,
Hmm.
correct? But someone that is
Correct.
a terrible singer, he does not have a good voice. Now, can you improve the quality of your voice with a lot of practice and stretching your voice to the limit? Yes, you can,
Hmm.
but you will not be able to complete it 100%,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But let's say if we are talking about things that are 100% in our control, then our tone is 100% in our control,
Okay.
and the way we inflect our tone. For example, now if I were to sound, let's say I want to sound very comforting. Hey Anna, how are you? You good?
Yeah.
Correct. Now what is this? This is upward inflecting voice, high pitch and upward
Okay.
inflection. Hi, how
Yeah.
are you? Generally, if you observe,
Yeah.
females in areas like South Bombay, South Delhi, they generally will communicate like this with their close friends. Hey, it's such a long time. It's been such a long time. How have you been? Right. That is how they'll communicate.
Correct.
On the other end of the spectrum,
Hmm.
right, the enthusiastic woman that's super excited to see her friend.
Yeah.
There is this super manly man that's just super authoritative. I'm
Okay.
good. How are you?
Yeah.
I'm not. Now this is downward inflecting and this is deep pitch. Hi,
Got it.
how are you? I'm good. How are you? Okay.
Correct.
So this
Correct.
is inflection of your voice.
Okay.
Low and deep pitch makes you
Hmm.
sound more authoritative, more manly.
Correct.
Correct. So you can most definitely modify your pitch.
Hmm.
And apart from that, the end of, let's say, the word hi, hi.
Okay.
Okay. Don't elongate whatever you are saying. Cut it short.
Okay.
Don't stretch the vowel. If you want to sound deep, if you want to sound manly,
Okay.
right? If you want to
Yeah.
sound authoritative, if you want to sound friendly, stretch it out. That's fine.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, and
Yeah.
complement this with a smile. The first one with a smile, if you want to be overly comforting and all of that,
Yeah.
and the next one without a smile, completely authoritative. And in the middle
Yeah.
of both of these spectrum, this charismatic.
Oh,
Hi,
okay.
how are you?
Got it.
Right? This is completely in the middle.
Okay. Okay. So authoritative and the happy guy. So both of them
First one
combined.
is
Okay. Okay.
approachable, super friendly, super
Yeah.
comforting.
Yeah.
Let's call it comforting.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that is comforting tone. This
Yeah.
is in a way dominating,
Got it. Got it.
and in the middle is charismatic.
So when do you use these type of tones? In what situations do you use these tones?
If you want to show that you are super excited to see the other person and you make them, and also they should also be the kind of person that want to be welcomed in that manner. For example, some people don't like it, some people think that it's too over the top,
Correct. Correct.
correct?
Yeah.
So in that scenario, you need to figure out where is it that they lie. But let's say, for example, there is charismatic. Hi, how are you? Correct? You want to be
Yeah.
a little more comforting, then you can just go a notch higher than this and be like, hi,
Okay.
good to see you, man. How you been? Now this is still charismatic, this is still approachable, but it's
Okay.
not super enthusiastic.
Got it. Got
So,
it.
so this is a sweet spot if you want to make someone feel comfortable. And if you want to, let's say someone is getting too close and you want to, push them away, you don't want to sound very welcoming. So you'll
Correct.
be like, okay, I understand. Okay. Have a straight face
Hmm.
and speak in a downward inflecting voice.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is how you can utilize both of these ranges, all three of these ranges basically:
Hmm.
comforting, dominating, and charismatic.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Got it, sir. So, this is a kind of a dating question. I hope,
Okay.
yeah, it's fine with you.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
that's absolutely fine. Please go ahead.
okay, okay. So, being a guy myself, how should I, let's say, approach girls in today's day and age without, sounding cringy? So, how do you do that?
Mhm. First and foremost, here's the thing, right? Before you even begin speaking or talking to them or approaching them, they will first analyze the way you appear,
Okay,
right? Because appearance precedes the way you sound. Now,
correct.
obviously, if you get the opportunity to speak to someone directly on the phone,
Mhm.
then you can definitely impress them with your voice if you have really good vocal skills. But in most scenarios, you will be exhibiting your appearance.
Correct.
First and foremost, dress up, dress sharp, look presentable.
Okay, okay.
This one step alone is first and foremost help you feel more confident. That is going to help you feel more confident. Number
True,
one.
true.
But two, she's going to feel more comfortable knowing that you are someone that's more presentable.
Okay,
It's said that you should not judge a book by its cover, correct? But
correct.
Zakir Khan has also mentioned that people have a lot and always will judge a book by its cover. The only way they don't, if the book is so freaking good that you
Mhm.
don't care about the cover,
Correct, correct.
correct? So let's
Yep.
say if you're super freaking loaded,
Mhm.
the book is so good, you don't have to focus on looking that good,
Correct. Okay.
correct? But in most scenarios, you need to work upon the cover and dress well. If I were to give you a guide to, let's say, just dressing up really well, first and foremost,
Yeah.
know your body shape,
Okay.
your face shape, know the color of your skin.
Okay.
Okay, based on the shape of your body, decide the kind of clothes you want to wear.
Okay.
Right? Do you want to wear jackets or do you want to wear more tightly hugging clothes? For example, let's say if you are lean and fit,
Yeah.
you can wear good shorts that fit not super tight
Mhm.
until unless you're going to the gym,
Yeah.
but relatively hugging your arms and the chest is popping just a little bit, not too much,
Okay.
and then it's just falling down. Right? So a good t-shirt, if you're really fit, even a good t-shirt would look good on you.
Correct. Okay.
Correct? But let's say if you're not that fit, your body is not that toned.
Yeah.
Wear layers, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Layers make you look more presentable.
Correct.
Correct. Now, again, depending on your body shape, you can try different things. This was just to give you an overview
Got
and
it.
summarize it in a very short amount of time. After
Correct.
that, it's the shape of your face. What is your face shape?
Okay.
Based on the shape of your face, what are the hairstyles that you can keep? Right. For example, if you have a very round shape,
Yeah.
now the rounder a face is, the
Mhm.
more feminine it is considered to be, and the
Okay.
more edgier and the more angular the face is,
Mhm.
the more masculine it is considered to be.
Okay.
Correct. So
Okay.
if you want to appear more masculine and you have
Mhm.
a round face,
Yeah.
have hair and beard styles that add more definition to your face.
Okay. Okay.
For example, have an edgier hairstyle,
Mhm.
correct? That's a little more aggressive. That's going to help you appear more masculine,
Okay.
correct? If you are, let's say, you have very sharp features, very toned jawline,
Mhm.
then if you want to soften it a bit, have flowing hair just like you have,
Okay.
right? Hair that fall down, not very heavy. So you can try this. And the third thing is the color of your skin. Now, the color
Okay.
of your skin will determine the kind of colors that are going to look good on you.
Got it.
Generally speaking,
Mhm.
black and white look good on broadly everyone.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so it's really hard to mess up wearing black or white.
Got it.
Correct? Until and
Yeah.
unless you're trying a very different style, it's hard to mess it up. If
Okay.
you really want to mess it up, you can, obviously,
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
right?
Okay.
But for example, you want to create contrast in your skin,
Mhm.
and but not always. I'm giving very broad and blanket thing,
Correct.
but generally contrast is good. Contrast helps you grab attention.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so for example, if you have dark skin,
Mhm.
white will help you have that contrast, and it'll look good.
Got it. Okay.
And if you're very fair, you can try black. Black is going to look really good as well,
Correct. Okay.
right? So these are some things you can try. And
Okay.
after appearance
Yeah.
comes, let's say, your communication.
Correct.
Now, let's say you are sorted with your appearance, you look really presentable.
Yeah.
Then, as soon as you go, first and foremost, internally,
Mhm.
just know that it's going to be fine. The
Okay.
worst thing, she's going to say no. That's it.
Okay.
Until and unless you're dating a gangster's, you're trying to approach a gangster's girlfriend or something like that.
Yeah.
In that case, yeah, I'm sorry, you're out of luck.
Got it.
But other than that, in most
Yeah.
scenarios, if you approach them in a way that's subtle and you have that confidence,
Mhm.
you'll be able to get it done. For example, and whenever you are approaching them, have a comfortable aura.
Okay.
If you feel nervous, she's gonna feel nervous. She's gonna feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
But if you are comfortable, she's gonna feel comfortable.
Got it. Got it.
Correct? So that is the first step. If for whatever reason you feel you can't make her feel comfortable,
Mhm.
leave.
Okay.
Okay, and just take it as a lesson and consider and think what could go wrong. And even if you left, that's fine because you are still better than you were before. If you hadn't approached her, you would have still been the same person. But now that you've approached that woman,
Mhm.
that goal, whoever that it was, you are now going to feel, okay, at least I tried. That's good. Doesn't matter if, let's say, you have a group of friends, if they laugh at you, that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Nobody is born a champion. Champions are built.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
So initially you're going to fail, that's fine,
Okay.
but keep practicing. Level up in ways. For example, instead of just directly approaching a girl,
Mhm.
try approaching, let's say, there might be people that are already in your class right now that are not new. Let's say a guy
Mhm.
that you have found cool, but you haven't just approached them and talked to them. That's going to be easier.
Correct.
Try that. Correct. If you go to a restaurant, there's going to be staff over there.
Mhm.
Try and talk to them. They are going to be receptive. They're not going to call anyone to beat you up.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Okay.
Right. So climb up the ladder gradually, and eventually you'll get there.
Got it. Okay. So first appearance, and then comes the communication. Matlab, first, so internally, you have to become confident and comfortable, and then you
Hmm.
approach her through communication. So that's
Correct.
okay. Got it. Okay. So moving on to the crux of the matter, sir. Probably I'm going to use this as the thumbnail itself. So might as
Okay.
well. So how can I become a conversation god? What is it that will that will set me completely apart and take me to the top 1%, and just you had that feeling when you saw your mentor on stage, and you just knew that I want to become like this. So in your head
Hmm.
you already had that image. Okay, he's already on a certain level. So how can I also
Hmm.
get on that level?
Okay. First and foremost, I'll be talking about unspoken aura.
Okay.
Sometimes, in fact, not sometimes, many times,
Mhm.
you haven't interacted with a person, but just by looking at them, you
Yeah.
feel that, okay, they're gonna have a good aura around them.
Correct.
Just
Correct.
by the just by their body language, just by the way they present themselves and the way they dress up, the way they walk.
Mhm.
Correct. And what that aura is nothing but body language. Number one,
Okay.
dressing. That's it.
Okay.
Body language and dressing. The way they dress up and the way they present themselves in terms of their body language. Generally, because that's all you're looking at.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, you may call it internal aura as if something's coming out. No, it's just these are the only things you're observing.
True.
He either has a body language and dressing sense, or he doesn't. That's it. Correct. So
Correct.
first have that aura by working upon your dressing style and have a confident body language. How do you have a confident body language? Now, generally speaking, play sports or workout.
Okay.
Okay, have an upright posture when you're communicating.
Okay.
Correct. These things go a long way.
Okay.
Now, I don't look like someone that works out on a regular basis, but I'm a hybrid calisthenics athlete.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I can actually put on 30 kilos on my body and do like 2 pull-ups. That's
Okay.
all. Though.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
So even though I might not look that built, I
Mhm.
am strong. I do work out on a regular basis.
Okay.
Correct. So that is one thing.
Okay.
And another thing in terms of, let's say, presentation and communication,
Mhm.
whenever you are speaking, never have your hands completely attached to your body.
Okay.
Let's say, for example, even if I'm resting, I'm
Yeah.
not resting like this. I'm resting like this.
Okay.
There is space. I'm occupying a little more space.
Got it.
Correct. When you do that, you just simply appear more confident. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So don't have these attached. And in fact, the more, so there's a spectrum. It's not like, so there's underconfidence and there
Mhm.
is overconfidence. So to the far this side, left side,
Mhm.
let's say there's underconfidence. In underconfidence, you are occupying as little space as possible,
Okay. Got it.
shrinking yourself horizontally, vertically, everywhere.
Yeah.
Overconfidence is you occupying too much space.
Got it.
Right? I'm in a podcast. I have no business spreading my arms like this. It's not a speech.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
So this is overconfidence. If I'm like in a podcast, dude, what?
Mhm.
A public speech, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Have an appropriate level of, let's say, body language depending on the circumstance and situation.
Mhm.
Correct. So generally speaking, having hands at a, let's say, 30 to 45-degree angle while speaking is good, is considered good. Don't
Okay.
feel afraid to occupy space
Mhm.
in, let's say, the horizontal domain,
Yeah.
but know that there is a spectrum of confidence, overconfidence, underconfidence.
Yeah.
Be at the sweet spot. Don't go too far on any of the sides.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, but if you have to go far on one or the other of these two sides,
Mhm.
prefer a little bit of overconfidence
Overconfidence.
and a little bit of underconfidence generally.
Okay. Okay. So this will
Okay,
help me master my communication skills.
internal. This is just the aura part.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, once you've done this,
Yeah.
then we come to the communication part, and I'll
Got
be
it.
talking about speaking as well as listening.
Okay.
In terms of speaking, when you are speaking, you need to have that first and foremost four emotions. You need to
Okay.
make them feel these four emotions, and if you make them these four emotions, you make them feel these four emotions,
Mhm.
they'll be mesmerized by you. They'll think
Okay.
you're a conversation god.
Okay.
Okay. First and foremost, as I've mentioned before, you need to make them feel comfortable.
Correct.
If they feel comfortable, the conversation is going to move forward. If they don't feel comfortable, no matter what you do, you could be doing and trying to do everything and anything, but nothing's going to happen. They're not going to move. They're not going to share anything.
Okay.
correct?
Yeah.
So analyze them, try and crack a joke. Generally, if let's say you want to make them feel comfortable,
Mhm.
the best way to do it, in my opinion, is through delivery.
Okay.
Just have a comforting delivery.
Okay.
Just speak through a smile,
Okay.
right? As soon as you speak through a smile,
Mhm.
the other person automatically feels a little more comfortable,
Okay. Okay. Got it.
right?
Correct.
Hi, good to see you. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Right?
Yeah.
I'm fine too. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Got
Right?
it.
So that's number one, comfort. After that, after comfort, you need to make sure that they trust you.
Okay.
And the way you gain their trust
Mhm.
is by having an open body language in terms of delivery,
Mhm.
in terms of content, sharing things about you, not about someone else.
Okay.
If you share things about someone else, you do the opposite of building trust.
Correct. Correct.
Okay? So
Okay.
stuff about yourself, what kind of a person you are,
Mhm.
right? And while all of this is happening,
Yeah.
be receptive and ask questions as well.
Okay.
Correct? So I'll move towards the questions part a little later,
Yeah.
but just to explain to you the emotions, the third emotion is respect.
Okay.
Why do you think respect is important or not?
Why do I think respect is important? Okay. So this is your
Yeah, let's say
conversation
we
tactic.
just make them feel these two emotions.
Okay.
Why are these two emotions not enough? What's going to happen if they don't, feel the third emotion?
Because they won't listen to you probably. If they don't respect you, they won't take it to heart what you have to say, and you won't drive your point home. So yeah, maybe that.
No, that's not. They'll still listen to you. That's not true that they won't listen to you,
Okay.
but they just might not consider you an authority, and they might not seek advice from you in a way, and they might not consider you as intellectual as you are.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? If you don't command respect, you are just a nice guy.
Okay.
And the problem with being a nice guy is
Mhm.
that people take you for granted.
Correct. Correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
So in order for them to not take you for granted, you need to command respect.
Okay.
And the way you do that is by, let's say, setting boundaries or showing expertise, competence in a certain field that, okay, you know a lot about a certain thing.
Mhm.
Correct? So that's showing competence. That is something that is going to make people respect you.
Yeah.
So after respect,
Mhm.
the next emotion is interest.
Okay.
Right? They need to feel that you are interested in them
Okay.
after you've made them feel these three emotions.
Okay.
Okay, and the way you make them feel interested, you make them feel as if you are interested in them,
Mhm.
is by asking questions and taking genuine interest.
Correct. Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
So now this was the speaking part, but that being said, you need to be a really good listener as well.
Okay.
There are four levels of listening.
Okay.
The first one is ignoring. You're not listening basically.
Correct.
The second is pretending. Correct.
Okay.
You're physically present, but
Mhm.
mentally you're someone else. You're somewhere else.
True.
The third level is active listening. You can actually narrate it back whatever the other person said.
Okay. Got it.
And the fourth level is empathetic listening,
Okay.
wherein someone might have made a mistake somewhere or the other,
Mhm.
but you let that mistake go because you understand where they are
Coming
coming
from.
from,
Okay.
what is it they are feeling. You analyze their body language
Mhm.
and you listen at a very deep level.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
So these are the four levels of listening. And when you listen at the empathetic level,
Mhm.
so for example, let's say if you're speaking and someone is constantly replying to you without even taking a pause,
Okay.
generally there's a big chance that they're not listening at the fourth level, they're listening at the third level.
Correct. Okay.
But then there are people that whenever you say something, they take a pause and they let it sit and they let it digest, and then they respond very thoughtfully.
Okay.
Right? That is the fourth level. That is when you can tell that, okay, you were listening
Mhm.
empathetically.
Got it.
Okay. Now, for example, now let's say, sure, this was speaking, this was listening, and how do we combine those?
Yeah.
Let's say you find someone and you want to approach and talk to them.
Okay.
Go up to them, give a short compliment with
Mhm.
a smile,
Correct.
and then immediately ask a question.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, what that does is
Mhm.
that there might be a possibility that that person might not be that comfortable with compliments.
Okay. Okay.
So you're just sitting there and just giving them a compliment. Sure, they might like it,
Yeah.
but they will not be able to respond back because they're not used to it. They might not be able to respond to it with poise.
Okay.
In that scenario, what you're supposed to do, let's say for example, you analyze that and then just ask a question and be very comfortable.
Okay.
Okay. For example,
Yeah.
let's say I see someone that's really beautiful.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
I find a certain specific compliment that I would like to give to her,
Okay.
and then I would just ask a question.
Okay.
For example, recently I was at a Starbucks.
Yeah.
Okay, and over there, I saw someone. She was wearing a quad set, and she was looking really good as well.
Okay.
And she was kind of working on something, and I felt like just going and talking to her. I
Okay.
had no intentions of, let's say, dating her or anything like that, but I just
Mhm.
wanted to get to know who she is, what she does.
Okay.
So I just went to her, and I was like, "Hey, I really like your outfit. Are you into, let's say, sales or marketing or administration or something like that. What exactly is it that you do? And then she was like, oh, thank you. So I'm actually into PR,
Okay.
right? Now, after that, she was mute. That's how they are going to be in most scenarios.
Okay.
Okay, you have to be the one that has to carry the conversation forward in the beginning in most scenarios, especially in India.
Okay.
Okay, so for example, PR. Oh wow, wonderful PR. So, like, do you have with whom do you work? What company do you work with?
Okay.
So then she'll be like, she said, okay, she has her own business and she's handling the PR of her own business. So then
Okay.
I talked to her and I said to her that, oh wow, wonderful. So I'm a life coach and I actually help leaders, business owners. I help them become better communicators as well.
Okay.
So that is how I move the conversation forward.
Mhm.
And after that, if I feel that okay, you know what, they are not someone that I want to talk to more,
Okay.
then you just exit with grace.
Okay.
In that conversation, I was like, okay, ठीक है.
Mhm.
She looks good and everything, but I did not want to talk more
Okay.
because I knew that I had to carry the entire conversation.
Correct.
And generally, I like talking to people that are comfortable and like can carry the conversation themselves as well.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I was like, oh, so all right, thank you so much for just whatever, and it was wonderful talking to you. Hope to see you soon. Bye.
Okay.
Okay. I did not exchange any Instagram ID, number, nothing,
Correct.
because I didn't feel like I want to talk to her or move things forwards. So
Mhm.
that's about it. But let's say you do want to move things forward,
Yeah.
you will be able to tell by the way they communicate whether
Okay.
or not this is going to move forward.
Okay.
For example, if they are responding and they're asking questions back, even if they're not asking questions back,
Mhm.
but they're responding with a smile based on your body language, because if you have a good, comfortable, positive body language,
Yeah.
that's all you need in most scenarios. 80% of the things are taken care of.
Okay. Okay.
It's not about what you say. People focus on the what. Forget the what. You don't need the what.
Mhm.
Just focus on the how, the way you're delivering it.
Correct.
80% of the time, if you master the delivery,
Mhm.
it's going to be fine.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So yeah, doing this will make me a conversation god, I guess.
Not right away.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, it takes time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just this does nothing.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
They say information, knowledge is power. Absolutely BS. Knowledge is not power.
Okay.
Unused knowledge is useless.
True.
Knowledge, when used, becomes power.
Correct. Correct.
So until and unless you don't utilize this,
Mhm.
you will not become a conversation god.
True. True. Definitely. Execution. We come back to execution again.
Execution, absolutely.
Yep. So, sir, nowadays I've seen many YouTube thumbnails and all many of those things like how to tell a story through your content, or how to do this, and just leading to storytelling basically. So,
Hmm.
the importance of storytelling is obviously increasing, and maybe previously also it would have been a lot. So, how do you master storytelling basically in communication?
I'll explain the basic structure of a story.
Okay.
Okay, and then mastering it is basically you just putting in the time, putting in the effort, and putting in the hours to master the structure
Okay.
and speak it eloquently. That's it.
Done.
Okay, so first and foremost, there is the hook,
Okay.
right? Even when you are Instagram reels, when you're watching them,
Mhm.
even they have hooks. Similarly, while conversing as well, your conversation needs to have a hook.
Got it.
Okay, and a good hook could be anything. For example, if I'm conversing and someone says something,
Mhm.
now initially if a conversation is already happening,
Yeah.
I cannot just jump in and start telling a story.
Okay.
Okay, whoever is in charge of the conversation, whoever is leading the conversation,
Mhm.
I first need to get in
Yeah.
and get them to talk to me and respond to me more
Mhm.
instead of me speaking more.
Got it.
For example, if they're saying something, I should be the one that asks them a question, a good question related to whatever they are saying.
Okay.
Then their focus is going to come to me gradually and I'll listen with intent.
Okay.
Okay, once I do this a couple of times, maybe
Mhm.
once or twice, then now I can speak.
Okay.
Okay, and when I speak, I should have a good hook or something
Mhm.
that on which I can elaborate upon.
Okay.
Correct? If I were to give you an example, for example, I'm just, let's say, in a conversation and someone is talking about masculinity.
Okay.
Okay, so here, like, many a times men do this and this is not how it's supposed to be done,
Mhm.
and this is how it's supposed to be done.
Okay.
Then I just come in the middle and I'm like, okay, but sir, what about, or whoever it is, so
Mhm.
ma'am, whoever it is,
Yeah. Yeah.
what about this thing? What about this certain specific instance
Okay.
wherein, let's say, I'm talking to a woman? What about then? Then he's going to be like, so okay, so when it comes to women,
Mhm.
you're supposed to do A, B, or C.
Okay.
Correct, and what he's essentially doing is that he's probably giving you threads A, B, C.
Mhm.
Whichever thread you resonate to, you can pick it and start talking about it.
Got it.
For example, so when it comes to women,
Mhm.
it's just that, don't believe a thing they say. Now this is just an example.
Okay.
I don't mean it, but a lot
Yeah.
of the times this is something.
Okay.
Then I can counter like, but don't you think a woman would know what she wants?
Okay. Got it.
And then they're like, well, they say that, but that's
Mhm.
not always the truth. And
Okay.
then I can be like, well, yeah, I do agree
Mhm.
sometimes, because women come from a space that's much more emotional as compared to men,
Correct.
and men come from a space that's very logical in most scenarios, and that
Okay.
is how it should be. And in a way, women fluctuate with their emotions a lot.
Mhm.
In fact, not just women, everyone, when it's emotional, it tends to fluctuate.
Okay.
So I think it's not like women are not truthful.
Mhm.
They are 100%. It's just that they are more emotional, and they might feel differently in different occasions about a certain specific thing.
Okay.
Okay. So now I got the chance, and I grabbed the mic and I spoke something, and then I'll just give it back to him.
Okay.
Okay. Because if there's too sudden of a change in power,
Mhm.
the other person would want to interrupt me and would want to take the mic away, to be honest.
Okay. Okay.
They'll not consciously do it.
Mhm.
It's a very subconscious process, but it just happens.
Okay.
Okay. So you have to be very subtle about this exchange if it's in the middle of a conversation.
Okay.
Correct. So that is how you, in a way, build upon it. And then now after that, I'll start speaking a story related to this.
Okay.
Okay. But know that I am surrounded by people already.
Mhm.
Correct. So until and unless they are there and they respect me a lot,
Yeah.
they won't listen to me.
Okay.
So I have to keep my stories short and gradually elongate them based
Mhm.
on the way people observe with me, people observe me and communicate with me.
Okay.
Correct. If right away I start to speak a story that's too long,
Mhm.
no, they're gonna cut me off,
Yeah.
and the conversation is gonna go elsewhere.
Okay.
First, I'll have to start with short pieces, short stories,
Mhm.
right, that I can finish in, let's say, a minute, 45 seconds. That's it.
Okay.
Then I move forward in a conversational setting and I build upon it.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
So these are just conversational stories that come to you,
Mhm.
and any specific moment wherein you had a lot of emotional energy in that moment.
Yeah.
Narrating a story related to that,
Mhm.
that is something that hooks people a lot.
Okay.
So whatever something is, if it has an interesting twist to it, right,
Yeah.
it can hook people. And the way you find out whether or not it has an interesting twist,
Mhm.
so there are three types of stories.
Okay.
First is the reptilian story. So
Okay.
any story that's very primal,
Mhm.
related to scarcity of food, or let's say reproduction or something like that. These
Yeah.
are very primal stories,
Okay.
right? People are generally curious about these stories because these are urges that everyone has.
Yeah.
Talk When you talk about, let's say, food, how food tasted,
Mhm.
right? That's in a way a primal emotion. It's connected to our, a sense,
Correct.
right? And then you talk about how an interaction with the opposite gender went.
Mhm.
That's also something that's very primal.
Correct.
Correct. That is the first type of story.
Okay.
The second is the mammalian story.
Okay.
So mammalian stories are in a way more emotionally charged.
Okay.
When I say emotionally charged, these are stories about, let's say, trust,
Mhm.
loyalty, right, respect. These are emotions that mammals feel as well.
Got it.
Correct. So reptilian emotions, for example, now to distinguish them a little bit more,
Yeah.
let's say take a python
Okay.
and you take a dog.
Okay.
You keep them as a pet for 1 year.
Mhm.
Something happens, both of them feel hungry,
Correct.
right? Very hungry, extremely hungry.
Mhm.
No matter what happens, the dog will not try to kill and eat you
Correct. Correct.
if you have trained it and you've given it love.
Yeah.
But the python, on the other hand, does not care how much love you gave to it.
Okay.
When you are sleeping, it will come for you in your sleep if it is starving.
Okay.
Okay, it'll wrap itself around you and it'll try to eat you. Why? Because he does not possess those mammalian emotions. His
Correct.
brain cannot process those things. Correct? So
Got it.
that is how we distinguish between reptilian and mammalian emotions.
Hmm.
And the next are human or logical emotions.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, either us or a dolphin can interpret these things.
Okay.
Okay, so things that, let's say, involve a lot of logic. Let's say you're giving a business pitch.
Mhm.
You're talking about numbers. That's logical. That's not emotional.
Correct.
Correct. So things of this nature,
Mhm.
these fall in the logical domain. Generally, in party scenarios, in, let's say, conversations that are, let's say, friendly, you don't talk as much about logical things. You generally talk more about the reptilian and the mammalian stories.
Okay.
So in these scenarios, you can talk about share your reptilian and mammalian instances.
Got it.
But let's say, for example, it's a more intellectual conversation.
Mhm.
It's about consciousness. It's about other things. Then you can talk about the intellectual stuff,
Okay.
depending on the level of comprehension of the other person. You
Correct.
need to kind of adjust accordingly.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so these are the three types of stories that you can narrate,
Mhm.
and the basic structure is hook,
Yeah.
and then a challenge, a compelling challenge that people would want to listen to.
Okay.
Interesting, fun challenge. Correct.
Okay.
After the challenge, there is overcoming. How did you overcome the challenge?
Okay.
Correct. And after the overcoming, just a fun ending in a regular conversation, not a story, not a let's say public speech,
Mhm.
but it's a general conversation. Then just
Okay.
fun things like that, right? Hook. challenge, overcoming the challenge. There's a small, short, funny message. That's it. That's all you need.
Okay. Okay. So
Correct? You
yeah.
do these things,
Mhm.
you practice these things, eventually you'll become really good at conversations.
Okay. So these four things will help me become a good storyteller, basically.
Yeah, in a way.
Okay, okay, got it. So all of this, you where do you learn all of this from? So just to get a hang of it, just to get a hang of some conversational skills and increasing communication skills, can you recommend a few books or some videos even, for improving my speaking skills?
Hmm. You can try How to Talk to Anyone.
Okay,
I don't remember the name of the author. It's 91 Ways on How to Talk to Anyone.
okay,
Correct? So you can try that book.
yeah,
Apart from that, you can also try Dale Carnegie, How to Influence and Influence People.
yeah, yeah, okay.
That's an OG.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Apart from that, if you want to learn how you can communicate with power, 40 laws of power.
Okay,
Now, again, not all of them are specifically related to conversations,
correct.
right? But there are some things that you can most definitely apply while conversing with people as well.
Okay.
So 48 laws of power is one thing. Apart from that, if let's say you want to get into negotiation,
Mm-hmm.
you can read Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
Correct, correct.
You can also read other Robert Greene books to understand psychology,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Laws of Human Nature,
Mm-hmm.
Art of Seduction. If you want something specifically related to, let's say, women, Art
Yeah,
of Seduction is something you can read,
correct.
right? So these are some general book recommendations, and these are some general books that you can pick up and you can try them out.
Got it, got it. Thank you. Will definitely try a few for sure. I'm actually there in my basket. Like many of them are in my basket. I just have to
Wonderful.
buy. So yeah,
Mhm.
so
Perfect.
definitely yeah. So moving on. Does making generally, what my father used to tell me was, if you know a language, you won't
Hmm.
make more hand movements or hand gestures. But now I want
Okay.
to ask you, as you are a professional at this, so does making hand movements while speaking, indicate I don't know the language, or does it indicate something else, like positive or something else?
Hmm. Why do you think it would indicate that you don't know the language?
Because, well, this is my father's logic, I don't know more about it. So he used to tell
Hmm.
me that you try to use your hands to convey a point, because you can't convey it through your language, so that is why you're using your hands to convey your point. So that is what
Hmm.
his logic was.
That's not 100% true.
Okay.
Sure, if you cannot convey it without using your hands,
Mhm.
then you're weak in it.
Okay.
But adding hands to it does not mean that you're gonna lack in it, or you're gonna convey it less.
Okay,
Okay, hands add more engagement.
got it.
So that's not true that okay, you if you're using hands that means you don't know or you can't communicate as well. That's not true at all.
Okay.
In fact, let me ask you: you are supposed to give a business pitch,
Okay.
right? If you cannot convey it without a presentation,
Mhm.
then obviously, sure, that means you probably need to work upon it, understand it more, and make it more digestible.
Okay.
But that does not mean that you using a presentation to convey it
Mhm.
means that you're bad at presenting or bad at conveying your ideas. You're just now going to be able to convey it with more clarity because you have more details,
Correct.
right? Similarly, your hands are in a way a presentation.
Okay.
Okay, most definitely, when you're not using your hands and you're just very calm and you're in a position
Mhm.
that appears more poised and more authoritative in certain situations, for sure, if done really well.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a different category and class altogether.
Mhm.
But it's not necessary that just because you're using your hands does not mean that you're not a good communicator. So yeah.
Got it. Okay. We'll let my father know about this. So yeah, and okay. So what are the common mistakes that you have seen in your journey that people make while speaking?
Not taking a pause,
Okay,
being in a rush to complete what they are saying.
got it.
They feel almost as if they have limited amount of time with the other person,
Hmm.
and if they don't speak fast, the other person is not going to listen to them.
Okay.
When the complete opposite is true. If you're speaking too fast,
Hmm.
there's a chance that the other person is not understanding and they might not want to listen to you.
Correct. Correct.
Correct? So that's another thing, right? Having a very underconfident body language,
Okay.
not occupying the right amount of space in a way.
Hmm.
Okay, post which using a lot of ums and ahs.
Okay.
A moderate amount is fine.
Got it.
So if you, let's say, take training of public speaking,
Hmm.
then they'll tell you that don't have any ums and ahs.
Okay.
But that's not 100% true. You can deliberately use ums and ahs to convey a certain emotion.
Okay.
For example, let's say you want to convey that you are uncomfortable
Hmm.
in a joking manner.
Okay. Yeah.
Then you can be like, bhai, ye kya pooch liya?
Ha,
Like
ha, ha.
something
Correct.
like that.
Correct.
So you can use them in that regard.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
But you should be in control of them. That's about it.
Got it.
So a lot of ums and ahs are also another thing. So these are a few things, a few common mistakes that people make when communicating.
Okay. So in my school there was a father, and he used to give a very long speech, and most of the people used to just get bored, completely bored, because he, just out of the point, he just used to start, and doesn't even stop for 10, 20 minutes, and just used to go on.
Mhm.
And it was a very uncomfortable situation. So
Correct.
how do you hold an audience's attention during a speech like this? A formal speech. How do you hold the audience's attention?
So in that regard,
Yeah.
the reason the reason you were bored is it's not because it was long.
Okay.
The reason you were bored is because it lacked engagement.
Correct.
He was probably in a way speaking a monologue, wherein
True.
he's just speaking, not engaging the audience at all.
Yep.
Okay, that is completely boring. But when you engage the audience, then you could speak for an hour and people would love listening to you.
Okay.
There are stand-up comedians that speak for an hour. You listen to them, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Right? Why? Because their speech is engaging. It's humorous.
True.
Correct? So one way is obviously humor.
Yeah.
Having strong humorous content, number one.
Okay.
Having modulation and variety in your voice.
Okay.
Okay? Have variety. For example, there are three vocal ranges. First is the visual range.
Okay.
When I'm visual, I have a lot of energy. I'm using my hands. I'm speaking in a way that's loud, that's energetic, that's fast. That's completely visual.
Got it.
Then I'm completely kinesthetic.
Okay.
This is very calm,
Yeah.
very soothing. Guided meditations happen in this tone of voice.
Got it.
Then there is auditory.
Okay.
Auditory is completely monotonous. Monotonous. You don't go up, you don't go down, you don't use your hands. You speak in a complete monotone. You
Correct.
sound very boring in when
Okay.
you're speaking in the auditory tone.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so modulate between these ranges.
Okay.
Correct, humor, and then again modulation,
Yeah.
and then ask audience questions. Engage with the audience. Don't just they are there. You're not speaking to a camera.
Correct.
Camera might not respond, an audience will. Use
Got
the audience.
got it. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's one another thing. The next thing you could do is that let's say you've used the audience as well. You're given a stage. Use this.
Okay.
For example, right now my stage is this entire screen.
Yeah.
If I'm not using my hands, there's space that is not going to be utilized.
Correct.
Now again, I will not consciously try and utilize these spaces and use. No,
Yeah.
that's not the case.
Yeah.
But try and utilize it to the best of your abilities. In a way, it appears comfortable and pleasing and subtle.
Okay. Okay.
Don't deliberately go out of your way to use it, but know that you have it. Use it in a way that is subtle, appropriate, and is good.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Got it, sir. So, now in this day and age, do you think that public speaking in India still has a lot of scope, and you can easily develop a career if you have good vocal skills, or just basic to average, and by training you can do it? So do you think there is scope?
Scope, definitely. Easy, definitely not.
Okay. Okay.
So, scope, I'll be honest, if you are really passionate about it, definitely do it.
Okay.
Because this is one skill that is going to have ripple effects in every domain of your life.
Correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
For example, let's say if you are speaking to someone, you are a good public speaker. Guess what? You are also a good speaker in general, even if you're not in front of a public.
Correct. Correct.
You're going to be a good one-on-one communicator as well if you're a good public speaker.
True.
Correct? So if you want to pursue it as a career, you can most definitely on this side keep on working upon it
Yeah.
while having something that is going to give you stability.
Okay.
Because I generally don't recommend pursuing something full time, 100% without having any backup, without having any strong foundation.
Okay.
If you are really inclined to it and you are willing to put in a lot of time and energy, do it in a way that's sustainable for you, not
Okay.
in a way that's going to be, let's say, let's say if this doesn't work out, then you're going to be in a bad situation. That is not how it should be.
Correct. Okay.
Correct? To have contingency plans,
Okay.
so you can most definitely do it. Learn from other people, learn from how someone else did it, show your work on a regular basis. And if you are good, people will let you know that you are good and your work is going to blow up.
Okay. Okay.
If you're not good, your work does not blow up, then there's a chance that your work is probably not that good.
Okay.
Now, that does not mean quit, but that most definitely means work upon it and improve it.
Correct. Correct.
That's how it.
Okay, got it. So, you do have a coaching program, right? Like you do coach top tier leaders in
Correct.
communication. So, what is one advanced technique, that you teach them, or, just for the viewers here and for me as well, what is that one advanced technique that most of the people you teach and for improving their communication?
I wouldn't say advanced,
Okay.
but this is something that most people don't do.
Okay. Okay.
Taking a pause.
Hmm.
Whenever you are speaking, don't be in a rush to speak.
Okay.
When you take a pause, people want to listen more. And there is this restlessness in that pause
Hmm.
that makes people want to listen to you more.
Okay.
Right now, as well, if you observed,
Yeah.
I was not rushing. I deliberately took pauses.
Correct.
As a result, you have this sense of feeling that okay, I wanna okay, what's coming next. It's
Correct.
not conscious, it's subconscious. So that's one thing you could do, taking a pause every now and then.
Okay.
Another thing is I've already mentioned it, inflection.
Okay.
The way you inflect your voice is your personality.
Got it.
If you are constantly, in a very comforting and uplifting tone,
Mhm.
that is your personality.
Okay.
People are going to think that you are a very comforting person. If you constantly speak in a downward inflecting tone, then you are, an authoritative person.
Got it.
So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I guess we are nearing the end to this awesome podcast, and I just end with all my guests for these last three podcasts. I have done with an advice section. I always end up with an advice section. So how can an ambitious speaker get into the field of public speaking and make money out of it?
Okay. So first and foremost, again, become a good speaker.
Okay.
Record yourself on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Correct, using the exercise that I just mentioned to you.
Correct.
Analyze body language,
Hmm.
analyze the tone, analyze the content.
Okay.
Okay. Become really good at it,
Hmm.
and then pick one thing that you want to talk about.
Okay.
Because public speakers are invited because they are expert in a certain field.
Okay.
Nobody is just going to invite you because you're a good public speaker. Sure, I mean, if you're a motivational speaker, people are going to invite you because you're a good motivational speaker. They want their audience to be motivated.
Hmm.
But otherwise, what is it that you're public speaking about? Is it business? Is it AI? Is it communication? Are you teaching soft skills? What is it that you are, specializing in?
Correct.
Once you do that, show your work as much as possible, online, offline, in whatever domain possible.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
try and conduct free webinars.
Okay.
Invite people for free on a topic of your expertise.
Got it.
Record yourself giving a podcast, giving that seminar,
Okay.
even if it's in front of a laptop.
Hmm.
Put it online.
Okay.
Okay, if you are a good speaker and you have that good energy, people are gonna watch it and people are gonna like it.
Got it.
Correct? It's gonna gain some traction, gain some reach. People are gonna come to you and they might even pay for your services.
Okay.
After that, try and conduct a live seminar once you get that.
Correct.
Right? Live seminar may again record it as much as possible,
Hmm.
publish it online, divide it into chunks, put it on Instagram.
Okay.
Right? Combine it, don't divide it in chunks, put it on YouTube.
Hmm.
Right? These are certain things that you can do.
Okay.
Once you show more and more of your work,
Hmm.
people are gonna come to you.
Got it.
After that, launch paid seminars, paid workshops, your own. Don't just depend on someone else to call you.
Correct.
Even if someone is not calling you, establish yourself as an authority, build your personal brand.
Got it.
That is something that helps tremendously. I built a personal brand. I
Hmm.
had my presence on Instagram. That is why you reached out to me.
Correct.
You went through my content, you enjoyed it, you liked it, and you called me on.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is also something that the previous three podcasts that I was invited to. That is also something that they did as well. They
Okay.
went through my profile, they liked it, and they invited me. So that is something that you can do.
Introverts basically. So these people, they won't probably post things online, and they're shy. So is this a career field for introverts, or can it become a career field for introverts? What do you think?
I'm an introvert.
Oh, okay.
Introvert is, if you're an introvert, that does not mean you can't speak well. If you're an introvert, that just means that in order for you to recharge,
Mhm.
you need solitude.
Correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
You can be a really good communicator. In fact, introverts learn faster in most scenarios than extroverts because they are capable of paying more attention
Okay.
without even trying,
Okay.
which is also the reason they feel drained out because
Mhm.
they're paying too much attention.
Got it.
Extroverts, on the other hand, they can ignore a lot of things. You
Okay.
might be saying something and an extrovert might completely ignore you,
Okay.
but an introvert is listening. Even if nobody else is listening to you, the introvert is listening and observing everything.
Okay.
Correct? So it's not that whether or not you're an introvert or an extrovert. It's
Mhm.
about whether or not you acquire that skill set.
Okay.
That skill set is acquirable through communication, practicing yourself, recording yourself, and if you feel fearful about uploading it online right now,
Yeah.
that's fine. Initially, when you feel that you are not good enough,
Mhm.
you might feel that way, but just wanted to let you know that if you are not good at it,
Yeah.
nobody's going to notice. People are going to ignore it.
Correct.
The time you get attention is when you become really good at it.
Okay.
So if you're afraid of posting online, thinking that a lot of people are going to notice it and they're going to make fun of you,
Mhm.
if it's bad, if you're a bad speaker, they're not even going to notice.
Correct.
And when you get good, that is when they'll start noticing.
Okay. Got it.
So as such, you don't have anything to worry.
Correct. Okay. Done. So so this is the last question, and this is related to me and my advice as well, and my age group basically and above, obviously. So let's say a 19-year-old who is confused in his career decides to opt for public speaking. So how should
Hmm.
he or she make a career out of it?
19 years, I'll be honest, age is just a number.
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
seen people that are very young doing really well and giving good public speeches as well.
Okay.
So anyone, for example, let's say you want to venture into the field of public speaking,
Mhm.
sure, get in, practice a lot,
Okay.
but know what is it that you want to public speak about.
Got it.
if you're just a good public speaker without having a specific knowledge base, something that you want to talk about,
Mhm.
then it becomes very general.
Got it. Okay.
Pick a field, pick a niche.
Mhm.
What exactly do you want to talk about?
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
For example, I don't just talk about public speaking. I also talk about dressing up. I
Correct.
also talk about sometimes, mindset,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So these are certain things that you can look into for sure. I'm not just a public speaking coach.
Yeah.
I'm a life coach as well,
Correct.
right? So what is it that you want to do? What is that one thing? Figured out that one thing that sure, public speaking is a channel of communication.
Okay.
What exactly that you would want to communicate?
Got it.
Find that, work upon it, and then I've mentioned the steps before already.
Correct. Correct. Yes. Okay. So that's it, sir. It's been a pleasure having you on and learning from you. And yes, I'm sure our audience has also learned, something at least. Definitely about appearances as well. I learned a lot about appearances. So thanks for that. And yeah, it's been an honor to have you.
Thank you so much
Yes.
for having me, Arnav,
Yeah.
and all the best for your future podcasts.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.